Hello! Welcome back to another week of streaming. Hooray! It's good to be back. Oh, how are people doing? It's been a fucking long week, good lord. But I'm happy to be back and making music in front of all you lovely people, and with all you lovely people, which is more important as far as I'm concerned, because doing this collaboratively is the main reason I'm doing it, so I'm not just trapped in my little room. In terms of technical issues, last week was a bit of a mess because we had a horrendous delay. I've put a little bit of a delay on the video and my mic audio, so hopefully that fixes it. If things pop up during the stream, do let me know. If I can't fix it in there, I will try and do it for next week. See what's going on in chat. Hey, people are here. Hello, Kitty. Nice to have you back. Oh, how was your, was it piano audition you had to do for college, right? I'm sure it went well. Matthew, hey man, how you doing? I am quite good. It's just been a pretty long week and it's been really difficult to get some Anki stuff on the go, but that's mainly because it's really tricky stuff, lots of weird time signatures and weird structures, so I've been banging my head up against the wall, but I had a breakthrough the other day, which is excellent. Name Casanova, nice to see you, dude. Stream was good, amazing, hooray! Fluxium, hey man, great to finally catch you on the stream, great to have you on here. Magnum, seeing you making stuff is enough for me. that's all I can offer, because I'm not a great entertainer otherwise. So let's make some music. Let's do that. I didn't really know what to do today. I thought, well, we could just do another little kind of tinker about and just randomly mess with stuff. But then I kind of really had the hankering to do a kind of like classic Anki thing from a few years ago of just like, well, fuck it, let's just do a random bootleg or something. So that's what I'm going to do. I have here loaded in one of my favourite old Skrillex songs from the Scary Monsters EP, one of my favourite EPs, and we're just going to work with it. Probably nothing will get done this stream. We'll end up just talking and like going over the same bit of audio for about 2 hours, but fuck it, let's work it. So I think this is at 120, if I remember rightly. Let's do some BPM checks, let's get the boring stuff out of the way so we can start getting weird. I think that's about right. Let me just check it on the kind of last drop. God, that's a long song. Such a needlessly long song. Nick, hey man, how's it going? Nice to have you here. Let's check this BPM. Oh, what a lovely, lovely song. Okay, let's give it a go. Yeah, we're going to do a bootleg. We don't really know how it's going to turn out. Or if anything is going to happen at all with it. But I reckon let's mess about and see what we can do. This is indeed Long Drive. This is one of my favourite old Skrillex songs. I remember this EP came out when I was 18, because I'm an old man. Or maybe I was 17. Probably 17. And I just learned to drive. So this was like the thing that I played in my car. No matter where I was driving to, it was cranked full force. And I was just an absolute mess. So, first thing to do when you're doing a bootleg is to go in, obviously find the right tempo of the original song. Then the first thing you really should do, actually, before I get ahead of myself, is change the key and preferably change the tempo. So first things first, let's move it up one semitone so that it sounds just a little bit different. That's already going to throw people, I think. That's really weird. Lovely, so we'll cue in now. Ooh. Interesting. We're going to be in C minor, so that's going to feel weird for a bass music song, but fuck it, it's not like this is going to see the light of day. Or it could, you never know. We might end up making a masterpiece. So from there, best thing we can do is change the tempo. We could either take this down and do 100 BPM, or take this up and do maybe like a 150 kind of half-time remix. Let's do 150. Let's do 150. Nothing like a little bit of energy. Let me just enable... Oh, yeah, okay. Let me do some boring things. Bounce to new recordings. That's going to take a little while for it to remember. Come on, Reason, you can do it. There we go. Stretch and transpose type. Don't need to do that. Now I can say delete unused recordings. Yep. Go ahead and say enable stretch. And now let's take you up to 150. Cool. Let's have a listen and see if that's actually worked. Wait for the time stretcher to catch up, but I think so. Treehouse Falcon is back. Hooray! On your way to class right now. That's alright, dude. Dip in and out as you see fit. This will all be up on YouTube anyway. God, that feels really, really quick now, doesn't it? Okay, so best thing we can do is kind of take a section that we can loop and then like build out a bass around. So a lot of this is, if you've heard the original, a lot of it's really complex and really like quite dense. There's loads of melodies and loads of vox chops, and there's no real rhyme or reason. It's very through composed. So I think what we need to do is just find an 8 bars that we really like the sound of and work with that, rather than try and, you know, fit the entire experience of this track into a bootleg. However, I do like working with that build. That could be fun. So that's the breakout. And then what drop is there? That seems so fucking stupid at that tempo. I love it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little block here just to remind me that this is where the build is. Build. So in the meantime, let's find something with these vocal chops. Maybe this first one? As much as I want to keep going because they get more, like, they get progressively more complex and more interesting as it goes along, I think I just kind of want to stick with this. Just keep it easy and then we'll just build a loop out. Right, we got ourselves a loop. Perfect. So let's move that down to a new audio track. I'm just going to call this OG file. Fine. We're going to come back to this periodically and just steal more and more and more things and just put it back into our bootleg. But for now, let's go ahead and move all of this off to the right-hand side. Move you all just so that we can kind of have a clean slate and work with this. So now that we've changed key, we've changed tempo, the next thing to do is change progression. So underneath here is a really, really simple progression, which is really gorgeous. It's the classic pop of just 6, 7, 1. And then back down to 7 again. So we, I think, want to reharmonize this a bit. So a crucial thing to do is take all the lows out. So let's high pass this. And get rid of all of this nasty stuff. Let's loop you and start. The best thing to do actually is just load in a really simple synth and just go ahead and create a really basic bass patch and just kind of play around until we get a progression that we like the sound of. Something that's a little bit different. Oh, listen to that sound. Perfect. But always, as always, while I'm rambling and creating things, if anyone's got any questions, if anyone's got any subjects you want to talk about, if anyone wants to just ask me how many pancakes I'm planning on eating today, which I believe is about 19, do let me know and we'll just have a chat. This is the main reason I'm doing this, is just kind of hang out with all you lovely lot. So I am completely open to whatever you want to chat about. Ooh. Squelchy. There we go. That'll actually work as our just kind of basic bass to figure out our progression. So let's hear what we've got and let's just try and jam underneath it and see if anything's coming up. Okay. So that's the original. I actually think keeping it largely the same, but instead of falling back to the 7, we could do a little kind of tonic substitution there and just land on a 5 instead. And then likewise, on the second time around, we'll fall to the 4 where we should have hit the 1. That would be really, really fun, I think. So the best way we could do that is, do we outline it in the bass or do we? Yeah, we do. We outline it in the bass. Let's outline it in the bass and then we can fix the patch later. Unless people want me to keep the squelch. If people want to keep the squelch, then just type squelch gang in the chat and I'll know. Let's put this on kind of 3/16 rhythm that we had there because that was pretty fun. Actually, that was 3/8, wasn't it? I misspoke. Bow, 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 bow. Bow it, boom, boom, boom. It's really, really frustrating listening to that fucking squelch bass over and over again. Bow, 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 bow. Lovely. And then down to the 5, and then we'll just copy that loop over again, and we'll make sure that this falls on the 4. And then maybe just stays on the 4 until that last 5, and then that should loop back nicely. Let's have a listen. Nah, I reckon too long on that. Let's just be bog standard. Yeah, that's pretty. So it's important to remember I don't actually know what section of the song I'm making at the moment. I quite like just messing about with like a small loop of the a cappella from the original track and then just building something out. And if it's, you know, quiet in texture or soft or intimate, then we can keep it as a as the intro. If it ends up being, you know, sub bass heavy first and then we like load up on top and there's drums everywhere, then we end up, you know, pivoting that towards the drop and spinning things out. But crucial thing is not to kind of keep ourselves locked in, as it were. Let's make a nice pluck to go alongside this, shall we? So nice. Alex is in the chat. Hello. Everybody who is around in chat, please say hello to Alex, or Wave Music as you'll know him. He's my delightful manager who has to put up with all my garbage. He is eternally patient. He deserves a medal for just not flipping his shit when I just went, yeah, by the way, I cancelled an album, sorry. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a replica. There we go. I'm getting a nice delay on the go. Bring the feedback down a little bit and the mix down, and then we'll just kind of compress at the end of this chain. Lovely. Sticking OTT on everything. Perfect. That's fine by me. Just really, really, really nasty in terms of the high frequencies here, so let's maybe soften this up a little bit. Whoop. And there as well. Perfect. That's kind of all we really need, but I might add an extra little texture to this on an FM oscillator, just give it kind of like a bell-like quality. There we go. That's a little nicer. Beautiful. Now that we've done that, I actually kind of want to just add a little bit more reverb to this. Perfect. And now, I think the best thing we can do with a kind of backing element like this is hold on to some pedal notes so that we end up kind of colouring the chords differently rather than building out triads and trying to think of the theory that way. If we stick with a bass note and then hold on notes above it, you'll end up getting a really nice flavour where the two kind of balance each other out and colour each other differently. So, perfect. That's the chord I wanted to hit. What key are we in again? C minor. Okay, let's go in here and maybe do a classic. If we're leaning into the classic Anki, says it, rather than any of the newfangled bollocks I'm working on. Let's do a 3-2-7, but not on a 16th. Let's do it on an 8th. Ding, 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 ding. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Porter will be suing me any day now. Perfect. Let's have a listen to how that fleshes it out. Perfect. We'll just keep that rolling. Keep that pedal rolling. It's not really a pedal, it's a fucking whole arp line now. There we go. And then just let that loop. Man, this is already fun. This is taking me back to not only when I was like 17 and driving listening to the song, but also like 4 years ago when I was coming up with Anki stuff and it was all new and fresh and I could just churn out one of these bootlegs in about 2 hours and it was just done. I wasn't second guessing everything. Right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate this device. We're going to put you all up an octave. Boom, boom. So really high pitched. And I'm just going to put you all an 8th. No, 2/8 off. I'm going to put you a quarter off. There we go. And pan you off to the left, because the other one's going to the right. And then I'm going to chop off all of their crazy super highs. And that way, we should have a really nice kind of rolling up line in the background. So solos. it's got this really lovely cascading sound now where the two lines are playing off each other. That's because of that time gap that we just put in there. Fluxium, got a general question. How do you feel the 200 to 300 Hz area in your mix? For my mixes, the low mids always lack presence or sounds way too muddy and I have to remove stuff, make it sound less full. That is, to be honest, a really huge problem area for a ton of people. It can be a problem for me sometimes. It can be a problem for everybody. It kind of varies on the genre that you're producing. So, for example, if you're making really modern dubstep, it's super easy to fill that region because the modern sound has that region completely scooped so that when your snare hits, and it hits relatively often, it punches all the way through, and that's enough of a hit down there that it fills it out and it doesn't feel like anything's missing. But if you're doing something, you know, like this, and we're going for more sustained chords and more of that wall of sound kind of going on there, you do need something down there. The best way I can kind of tell you to try and fill that out, number one, you're going to want to make sure that you have room for your kick fundamental here and your snare fundamental wherever that might be. I would tend to favour slightly lower snare fundamentals. We'll play with one a little bit so you can see where that would hit, but I would put it around about this kind of 200 Hz area, maybe slightly dipping into the 160, 180 kind of territory. As long as you have two holes in the mix for those to punch through, what I would do is keep the area between the two of them pretty much clear. That's where your mud is really going to start creeping in. From there, the 250 Hz and above, then you can definitely start loading in your kind of standard patches that fill in that hole. Actually, I'll show you how I would usually go about doing that. So there is a patch that a friend of mine and myself made many moons ago, but it's still the basic setup of what I would usually do. This is a super simple patch. It literally is just a square wave, a soft saw, and a triangle. Nothing more to it. The only thing is it's being run through this filter by about 36 dB of gain. It's far too loud. But what that's doing is generating harmonics due to distortion on every single possible part of the spectrum we could want. What I can then do is, using resonant filters here, by upping the resonance, I can completely target one band. So, for example, without any filtering, this is what this horrible sound sounds like. Which is really fucking silly. I'll open the filter up on the synth too. And it sounds awful. It sounds really grim, but you'll notice we have a little something at basically every single range of this frequency spectrum. So now what I can do is say, right, this needs to fill a mix hole exactly at 200 Hz for the bottom end, and I only want it to end at, you know, the start of my next pad, my main saw or something. That would be, I don't know, about 900 Hz, let's say. So I just move this to 900 or 1K, and now let's take a look at how that looks on here. And we have ourselves a much narrower band that we can then tidy up with our filters here and here. That means we then have a synth completely dedicated to just the problem spots in our mix that we can then use the filter on our mixer, not the filter, sorry, the fader on our mixer. Literally, we could just treat this as our dedicated, you know, band kind of mix, and we could just move this up and down. So if you feel like you're missing that element, you can kind of move this up slowly, and then if you listen back and you think, oh, it's a little bit too muddy, but I know I need it there, we'll just bring it down a little bit. The frequencies will still be there, they'll still warm it up, they'll still help it out, but now you have control over that exact band. So yeah, sorry for the very nerdy interim there for everybody else, but I hope that helped. Now back to the pretties. Yeah! Fuck it, I reckon we're going to turn this into a drop, you know. But let's find out. First things first, maybe what we should do is flesh out this bass, or maybe we should do chords. Chords, bass, or backing. Oh, it's also tempting. Chords. Let's do chords. So let's keep things nice and simple for the time being and just work with a basic theorem. There we go. By the way, if the stream starts falling apart, if there are more delays creeping in, or it gets completely unwatchable, please let me know, because I think last time it got gradually worse as it went along. So I'll try and fix it on the fly this time. What door is this? This is Reason, specifically Reason 10. I haven't had the money to upgrade to 11 yet, which is a shame because it is so nice. I have had a play on it and it's gorgeous. But yeah, this is Reason. I would staunchly recommend it to anybody, but whenever anyone tells you, oh, so-and-so is the best DAW, X and X is the best DAW, I'm like, nope, they all roughly do the same job these days. It's just about what layout everything's in. You can get the same sounds, the same mixes out of absolutely every single fucking DAW. You can make a great hit on GarageBand if you wanted to. So do not concern yourself with finding the best DAW, simply find the one that makes the most sense to you. They've all got demos, try them all out. Perfect, what a horrible sound that was. Let's go ahead and thicken this up. Lovely. I actually didn't need to move that master up, it's going to be awful. Okay, love your music, thanks for doing these. Dude, anytime, thank you very much for the kind words and the support and just being here in general. Choosing to hang out with me, this is very fun. So let's go ahead and keep our bass nice and separate. So we've got an octave jump for those notes, and then I'm just going to put a fifth on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then another octave. Lovely, and that should give us a nice kind of beefy stack on the bottom. It's such a fucking nonsense melody. Why is it so catchy? It literally goes against every single writing principle I teach to students, and it works so well. It's such a good melody. It's crazy. Right, let's round out some chords. Let's do that and then. And then we can really start opening up the tear duct here. There we go. Actually, I'm not sure I do like that. It's a little bit overly complex, a bit showy. Maybe let's try that instead. Nah, let's keep it simple, just a 7. And then this one is going to be lovely because it's a 5, it's my favourite chord. There we go. Lovely. Okay, now we've just got to outline the rest of them, so let's go ahead and take these because these are identical. Boop. Perfect, and now let's go ahead and outline our 4. Ooh, that's a weird stack, but I kind of like it. Very jazzy, very jazzy. Perfect. It's one of those things where, like, once you get a nice sequence underneath it, and to be fair, it's largely the same. It's just got a few tweaks. It's endlessly loopable. It's all, you just want to just dance around to nothing because you can hear the rest of the track in your head. I know exactly how that will sound if I put hours and hours and hours into it. But we only have about another hour, so let's see what comes out of it, shall we? First things first, let's go ahead and tease out some notes in there that I like the sound of, but they're kind of lost a little bit in the stack of the chords. Let's load in a nice, we'll process that in a little bit. At the moment it can just stay stock because we're not really trying to fit it in with anything else. Let's load in a little ARP or something, that would be good fun. Oh, to start with, let's load in a sub though, because we're going to need that. The filthiest, nastiest sub in the world. There we go. I know I kind of breezed through the chord little bits of that, but you know, no one was really asking for me to stop and explain how I was doing most of that. So if you need any kind of like music theory ideas or anything, just let me know and we can go through that too. That's one heavy sub. Yeah, it's a fucking silly sub. You'll notice that the majority of the time I do not use all of its stupid top end, which sounds really nice in the right context. It's really, really stupid. It's got a really nice clean low end. It really, really works. And what I like about it is it's scalable in terms of intensity. If you're trying to do a nice song, you can just cut all of this off, and the more and more gritty and the more and more dirty you want to make it, up and up and up it goes, and you know, the worse it becomes. But for now, let's just keep it nice and restrained, and we'll add that extra grit on top elsewhere. Lovely. Let's highlight some notes that we want to focus on in a nice little patch. Let's go ahead and distort the ever-loving Christ out of this. Ooh, with no, not with trash. Trash is more creative. All I want this is just pure overdrive. And for that, I have something. This little device is great. If you have access to it, please go and get it. It's called Mr. Overdrive. It's literally just a knob that demolishes everything. Turn it up, and you've just completely butchered the sound, but it drives gain through at such a crazy rate that you get a great overdrive effect out of it. Perfect. I kind of want to just maybe multi-oscillator this up as well, so there's a little bit more noise information for that to catch. Perfect. Bit more towards the analog oscillator. Beautiful. And now we've got all of this lovely reverb to play with, and we can put some delay. Oh, we've already got delay. More of it then. So what I kind of want to do here is just pick out certain notes from these stacks that I really like the sound of, and we can just kind of float on them a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is just copy the bass line onto it, and we're just going to listen to it with all of these stacks here. Up a couple of octaves, naturally. Which I don't like, so that's obviously too high already, so let's drop it down into the previous octave, but let's pick out some notes I prefer. Let's try that, just holding on that 7. That's a little lame. Could just do diatonic thirds, that could be fun. That's not even diatonic thirds, what am I talking about? That would be diatonic thirds. Which might sound really nice. Yeah, okay. Alright. You've convinced me, Reason. Down you go. And back down again. Maybe we just hold there. So that's very pretty. What I want to do now is offset that with a pedal. So I literally copy the patch down and open it up and just make all the notes the same notes, which would probably be the 7. So if we just put it underneath it, let's hear how that sounds. And duplicate it again and take it up an octave, so we're kind of sandwiching it in between 2 7s. Lovely. And because I don't want my computers to collapse under the weight of trying to process all of these various different channels and run XSplit at the same time, I think it's time to bounce some channels. Which, in the meantime, I can answer some questions if anybody has them. Who in the chat wants to speak up? And we can answer the questions while this gets bouncing. Tonchi, a clam man, is here. My guy, a clam man. Look what the cat dragged in. How are you doing, my dude? It's nice to have you in here. Let's move this up and get rid of all of these patches. And now we've got ourselves some nice audio to play with. Lovely. So let's hear how this meshes at the moment. Let's process this a little bit. I don't think I need that as much. Or a lot of this nastiness up here. Yeah. This could do with a little bit of compression as well. I say a little bit of compression, the most famously brutal compressor of all time. Mess with this now as well. Let's sculpt the sound a little bit, a little bit less low. And then let's EQ. Don't really need that. Or much of that, because I have a bass doing that. Lovely. Any advice on voice leading your chords? What kind of voices do you choose while choosing your chord stacks? Do you cluster your chords a lot, or are they spread out and layered? Cool, lots of things about chords. You don't by the looks of it, but I guess the question is there a good place for tension, cluster, emotional chords in your type of genre? Oh, dude, that absolutely is. As you can kind of see here, this is the general way you want to kind of try and lay your chords out, is build a solid foundation with really easy, basic intervals. So here we've got an octave, and then a fifth, and then a fourth to get back up to our octave, and then we just layer up a normal, boring fucking triad, which is like really, really basic. But then once we kind of start hitting the upper layers, you'll notice that we're really starting to work in the fourth, the fifth, the little sus2s. Once you're up into your higher frequencies, you can really start to move in those emotional cluster chords. I actually use false relations all the goddamn time. Loads of weird semitones and stuff clustering it, especially like a 2, 3, 4, and 5 like stuff, all in the all in the top layers that really are quite heartbreaking. Like in this chord over here, like that's already quite complex. But this one, no, that's not a 1. Where's a 1? Here's a 1. Which at the moment is just a 7, which is kind of boring, but you know, if you're really trying to break people's hearts and you've got time and space for the audience to, you know, like really hear that and really engage with it, you can start messing around with adding a 2 in there, adding a 4 in there, and you can get, and just, oh yeah, it's really, really nice, but there's already a lot going on this one, so I've tried to keep them a little bit hollow. I think the audio from Reason is delayed again. God damn it. No! How bad is it exactly? Because at the moment I've delayed my microphone and my video by exactly 1 second. No, exactly 900 milliseconds. So tell me how much we're out by and I'll kind of add it on and hope that that works. 5 to 8 seconds, 12 seconds. Why did it do that? Does anyone know why it does that? So in tests before I start streaming, it's literally exactly 1 second delay. And now suddenly it's like 12 goddamn seconds. Okay, hold up 1 second. What I'm going to try and do is sort my settings out on XSplit. Audio. Okay, so that would be. I'm gonna go for 8,000 millisecond delay. Delay on the microphone, and let's try and do that with the video as well. Nope. 8,000. Okay, right, let's see if that will work. That's really, really weird for me, because I've stopped playing 8 seconds prior. Yeah, I might just have to restart Reason, really. That would be a shame. Yeah, tell you what, let's give that a go. I'm going to set my settings back, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, now's the time to answer them, because we're good. Apply. God, I hate streaming. I don't. I love hanging out with a lot of you. Don't look, there's secret things on my desktop. Let's load up stream template. Come on, Reason, please work. Yeah, try getting into making chord intervals detune a few cents, making them appeal to the harmonic series. I actually have. There's quite a few microtonal things on the new record. Which is super fun. Like it creates a, like, when I'm trying to do it more to like get them in line with the harmonic series, right? They do kind of like bounce up against each other in a nice, pleasing way. But I think you'll find that a lot of people won't pick up on that. The stuff that I'm more interested in doing is like detuning to the point where you're getting genuine like microtonal things to elicit real tension and fear and horrible sounds. Right, restarted Reason. Let me start up my thing again. Right, let me know how delayed this is now. Hopefully that's a little better. If not, we might just have to put up with it and I'll do some furtive Googling. We good? We good. Excellent. All right, we found a temporary fix. Every time it gets really fucked up, we will literally just boop. Just get out of there. Lovely. Okay, I completely lost where we are now. Tell you what, let's get a beat on the go, and then we can start really rounding out these patches, adding some backing layers, bass fills, transitions, all that kind of stuff, and then maybe we can round out a verse. That would be good. Sounds good. Sniping your desktop for new music. Well, snipe all you like. There is all the juicy stuff is in folders, I'm afraid. So you'll never quite be able to see what there is. And the new project is code named, so it's not even in the new Anki folder. Right, let me see what I was doing here. Kicks and snares and kicks and snares. Let's start with a good modern dubsteppy kick. All of these are a bit horrible. I just don't know about those. They sounded good on my speakers, but ooh, through headphones, I'm really not so sure about that. Oof. Oof. Fuck it, let's go with this one, but I want to get a slightly better transient on the go. Let's put our sidechain on, and let's get to work getting a kick that we like. Should we just put it on every chord? Yeah, I think we should, you know. I actually don't like how loud these are being. Let's quieten you the hell up, boys. Right. Let's fix this sidechaining. I can still hear this really prominently, but it's kind of filling it up in a pleasing way. Yeah, you'll have to forgive whatever this mix ends up sounding like, because I very rarely do proper mixing or anything on my headphones. I much prefer to do it on my monitors, and they sound very different. I'm just not used to it. Let's go ahead and put that in, and then this will be a transition bar. Right, then we can kind of flesh this out by going over here. I love that this kick was called OTT, and I've just thrown another one on it. What has production become? See, that's kind of where we want the snare hitting, but it does sound nice in the kick. But I just want to actually get a lot more of this nice, juicy, low-end. Oh, yeah. I can already hear exactly the kind of transition I want out of this section, so I reckon let's just get rid of all of that. We can definitely do some horrible, horrible things to this sound. That's exactly what we want to do. Let's mess with this just repeated stuff. And then crush you into oblivion. Just real tiny audio. There we go. That's a little bit too tiny, if anything. Let's move this out, get a nice stutter going, maybe clip you up a little bit on the audio so you get a proper little like. That's a little bit too short. There we go. And then I'm just going to absolutely demolish one of the vocal sounds with some kind of horrible distortion. Picking at random here, I'm just going to throw you into the mix, time stretch you into the space of a quarter, take you down an octave. That's really bizarre. Let's actually take you up an octave instead then. And just utterly obliterate you with distortion. Let's do that. Trash is going to be really CPU heavy while I'm streaming, but fuck it, let's do it! I really don't mind. I can't be bothered with dealing with Trash's horrible interface, so I'm just going to pick a random one. Ice Castle sounds funny. Let's do that. That's kind of neat, actually, yeah. But on top of that, then let's overdrive the balls off it. Turn it way down, because that will hurt everybody's ears. EQ it, so we get rid of all of this garbage. This is how I like to make just glitches and weird edits and basses together. I know the theory, so I really don't have to worry too much. As long as I'm having fun, I don't want to stop to do checks every now and again. I just want to throw things at the wall and see what happens. That's really fucking silly. I love it. That's kind of fun, but let's see what happens now that we've got the rest of that stuff on there and we just change settings on the track. Yeah, that's fun. But it needs catching afterwards. This is the thing when you have some really destructive distortion, you need to make sure that you mute afterwards because there probably will be a tail. It's so stupid, I love it. Let's actually make it a little longer and then like reverse it. Fuck it, let's see what happens. No. Okay, let's do that instead then, and do that. is the iconic thing on No One Knows a distorted fart. It's actually not whatsoever. I know it sounds a little bit like a fart, but it is something far weirder, and I'm never going to tell people what it is. It's the thing that I really enjoy is that it's completely thematically on point. It ties into the meaning of the song so well, and no one's fucking picked up on it because everyone just goes, "That's a fart," and it's like, nope, not a fart. Something real fun. That's fun. I like that. Right, let's load in a snare and get the kind of groove on the go. Let's get a nice snare in here. Fuck it, let's stick in this kind of like modern dubstep tone area. That's got a pretty nice resonance down there. We can use you, and then we will process it like a modern dubstep snare. So we'll probably slap another OTT on it, compress the balls off it, and EQ to taste. Let's throw you up here on the side chaining. Lovely. Okay, let's throw you in. And copy and paste and get rid of you and you and you and you. What do I want to do with you? I'm not that inspired by you yet. Oh yeah, reversing causes my computer to have an absolute shit fit while I'm streaming. In that case, maybe I just do that and just see what happens. Sure, why not? So silly, I love it. Yay for silly. Oh man, it is quite a relief making music like this on stream, just because, yeah man, I'm really creatively fulfilled with the new Anki stuff, but it's just slow going. It's nice doing these things quickly, you know. I reckon a little bass hit in between. Yeah, let's stop that pad early actually. Like that. And get like a nice low bass hitting in. And likewise there, we can do the same thing. I reckon what I might need to do as well is go ahead and sidechain the original track. And then we can just get a much nicer fill at the end of this. You'll notice once I start getting excited about a song or just kind of a little bit more into it, I'm just composing at random. I keep starting a job and not finishing it. There's just holes in my mix. I'll come back to it. It's fine. I just heard something. Lovely. Okay, and put you over here. I've automated the wrong thing. Of course I have. That's what I wanted to do. Thank you very much. And take you all the way down, all the way up. And then what I need to do is just finish these bass edits that I was making. Lovely. So we got the dates through for some new music that will be coming your way, by the way, which is very exciting. Can't quite talk about it yet, but it's more than one song, and it's coming, let's say, in relatively short amount of time. Dodgy brut. It's a burp. Yeah, of course it is, mate. Of course it is. No, it sounds quite a lot like a burp or a fart, but no, it's something genuinely resonant. I promise. It's really easy for me to say that, isn't it? Just kind of be like, no, it's a genius. I promise you. Oh, I reckon, yeah, let's change the rhythm of that. Like a Barney from The Simpsons, but yeah, I could kind of see that, but I promise you still not. And that would not be that thematically resonant with no one else. And literally, I just want to re-trigger that. Because then we can probably put a snare on each of those, and that would sound really, really nice. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's really cool. And let's get another snare in there. I really like the way that sits, actually, because it plays with the way the vocal chops go, like nado, and you get these two top notes on top. That's really, really nice. I knew that was always going to happen, of course I did. Oh my god, that's so shit in in so many ways, and yet I'm really loath to delete it because I actually kind of really like it. What happens if I just put this underneath it as well? Like, that's more fun. Lovely. I would think I will pan you from left to right because that's extra fun. Excellent. And I think that needs an extra little texture on top, so I don't quite know what that will be. Maybe it could be a drum fill that gets reversed. Do you have drum fill? Company, you do have drum fills. You lovely man. Alright, let's reverse you and put you there. Yeah, that's the one. That's the texture we needed. Lovely. Throw you off to the left a little bit. Way fucking better. You kidding me? And then what I reckon we'll do is repeat this whole phrase again, and we'll maybe put like a lead guitar on it or something. Yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse. Okay, let's go ahead and throw on those edits again. I think I can literally just delete all of you and copy all of you over if I... Oh, it's so much fucking tamer. Oh yeah, so much nicer with all these huge saws in there. Ryan loves you. I'm sad to see you go, dude, but thank you for stopping by. If you want to kind of like catch up on the rest of these will be on YouTube. I promise you this. It was lovely to have you around. Signature sound. It was. There's going to be a new one coming. Several months from now. It's still a long way off, but it's going to be completely different. And not just like, oh, this producer wants to step away from making indie dance and he wants to go and make dubstep, or he wants to go and make house music or bass house or something, and that's risky. Like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna make a genre. And it's so easy for producers to say like, hey man, fuck genres, but all they then do is go and make a fucking bass house song when they were a dubstep artist, or they make drum and bass when they were, creating some nice, pretty indie music. Like, you're just swapping the genre box for another one. Like, the reason it's taking so long and the reason it's such hard work is I'm literally making sure I don't do anything that is in any genre. So it means I'm having to come up with brand new structures completely off the bat. And it's fucking hard. It's really hard work, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Right, it's time to add some bass fills and some cymbals, flesh this out, put some backing on it, copy it over, add a lead guitar, then get a verse on the go. Kurusik, this is fire. Well, thank you very much. I'm not sure how fire it will stay, but let's see what we can do with it, shall we? So for the time being, let's get a nice hi-hat on the go. Just hitting a nice basic one. This has inadvertently become a bit of a advert for company's Splice Pack, apparently, but I honestly very rarely use these. It was just happened to be there, so I thought, well, fuck it, why not? Let's get a nice hi-hat. None of these are lighting me on fire. In a good way, not in like an aggressive, like murder way. Let's throw that in and make sure that you are copying over. Lovely. Okay. The worst thing is, this sounds really good in my headphones, and I know the moment I take it off and listen to the playback on my speakers, it's going to sound like total shit, and it's been sounding like total shit to you guys for the last hour, but I sincerely hope that is not the case, because this is dope. This is super fun. Let's go ahead and EQ this Mama Jamma. Don't need that. Look at all that 30 Hz information that we definitely need on a hi-hat. Let's go ahead and scoop all of that out. Right, and then we need some more stuff, don't we? Fuck it, before we do cymbals, because that's kind of boring, let's do basses, because that's exciting. Do we want to play with the preset so that it's nice and quick, or shall we create a new weird bass right off the bat? Up to you guys. I'm really not fussed either way, but let me know. When did you learn to produce music? A long time ago is the correct question. To be honest, I'm still learning, and for many, many years, I don't think I was adequately learning. I was making a load of music and releasing a load of music, but I wasn't actually teaching myself anything. I started learning to produce when I was 17, so nearly 10 years ago. Create on Serum, please. Alright, fine. People are asking for Serum. Alrighty fucking roo. Let's go ahead and do that then. Serum, serum, best of all the animals. Serum, serum, you're my friend. Alright, let's do a basic kind of FM bass to start with, and then we can get a little bit creepier. Showtime. Alright, let's do some bass sound design. Let's use a stock thing. Let's do something like let's do something that anyone can recreate at home. I won't use any crazy weird. Oh, that's a great bass. I won't use any mad shit that you wouldn't find like wavetables and stuff. We're literally just gonna use Serum stock stuff. Lovely, let's get you moving there. Ah, it's kind of nice in between there and there. Let's move that around. Let's move you there. Lovely, and let's get the level pulsing. I'm listening to your music since high school, but I'm in college now. God damn. Thanks for sticking with me for so long, dude. I promise it will eventually be worth it. I'm glad you've had a good time. I'm going to be doing lots of mad shit soon, I promise. Right, what else can we fuck with? Let's change the octave. Lovely. Right, first things first, let's get some more interesting movement on the go. Let's get a filter working on a high pass and get some kind of vowels on the bottom. Probably best. I have two things doing exactly the same fucking thing. I don't know why. Let's give it some noise, like a tiny bit of noise. Let's give it some bright white. so much nice bright white. Let's do the level on there the same. Lovely. That's kind of fun. What happens if we change the wavetable now? Ooh, kind of fun. Okay, what we're going to do is go ahead and apply a little bit of effects work, and then we're going to edit this outside of Serum to get it sounding crispy and weird and fucking silly. Lovely. Obviously distortion. Excellent. Now comes the fun bit. Yeah, actually, let's do some slapback delay as well. Lovely. Lovely. Do you think to switch to Ableton anytime, or is Reason the cat's pajamas and you're so accustomed to it? So basically, I don't think musically or tech-wise there is really much of a plus or minus to any DAW these days at all. I really do think it's just wherever you feel the most comfortable workflow-wise, and Reason just makes by far the most sense to me. As in terms of like why I think that, like the pluses I would sell to anybody else, the ability to literally just alt-click and on literally any of these very visual knobs on literally anything on here, it's like this tiny thing. If I alt-click on any of these, boop, takes me straight to the sequencer, and I've got my own automation channel. It flows so nicely. Having the filter the kind of frequency spectrum on F2 just like that with an in-bit EQ is so quick to do just like crazy useful things like high passing, low passing, and making really quick EQ tweaks. Because I'm streaming, this is like 30% of my normal speed. I can do tons and tons of stuff super fast. The main thing for me is the rack window. I love the layout of the rack window. It makes so much sense to me, and I think there's so much creativity. Like literally just from a producer's kind of standpoint, this area is just a nerd's dream. You can route so many things, and I love the fact that there is a way to problem solve. You can literally do anything with Reason. You just have to kind of think logically for a second and then cable it up, and it will work as long as you thought of the right answer. I've lost my bass now. Where are you? Lovely. It sounds like dubstep. It does. I mean, this is literally what most modern dubstep producers do. Lovely. So now what we need to do, I think, is get a bit more EQ movement going on down here. Lovely. And then we'll kind of get the same thing going with a low pass. Just to tidy it up a little bit. Lovely, that's kind of cool. What I want to do is throw on a filter and then just really play with the kind of mad shit we can do. Let's go ahead and throw on, yeah, the reverb filter. That's always fun. Literally just looking for like a resonance I like the sound of. About there. Lovely, then we'll compress. Lovely, and now obviously the fun can come from doing crazy things with just, because we've processed this pretty extensively now. Going back and changing basic things over here, we can get some really wild results. And then we can do this little. Oh, this is so fun. We can probably change this and see how that affects it. Oh, I like that. Okay, so what I want to do here is to have it hit with the snare, make sure it's side chaining. I'm going to load on a basic kind of like mixed channel layout I've got, which is just a couple of compressors and a limiter, which is decent for kind of modern dubstep sounds. But it does need muting after the fact, because otherwise you get those weird glitches coming in and out. Let's make sure you're going through sidechain, and then we can do some stupid edits. Lovely. I actually quite like how in and out it is, kind of stop-start wise there. That's really cool. Let's go ahead and make sure that when it's not playing, it's muted. Jesus Christ. There we go. I really should put a gate on the end of that, really. We actually don't start there, do we? Okay, cool. So if I get rid of these so it's less choppy, let's actually outline that. Lovely. Shut your mouth hole. Let's go ahead and just keep this up, and then I'll just chop in. Lovely. Okay, now we can go ahead and pitch bend to our heart's content, all the way down. And that's another one. So what you kind of want to do is go ahead and like copy these over. But every single time it hits, we're going to want to automate something different. So first things first, I just need to fill in the gaps, and then we'll go back and we'll give every single one a bit of a different character, so people don't get bored. So I want to do another one in there as well, but that's a much quicker one, I think. Lovely. Once again, I'll just copy that over, I think just the once. That's all I need to do. Excellent. Carve out my area. This is a really long-winded way of doing this. This is just me refusing to go in and fix things. Reason lagging again. No worries. We're going to do our fix. Cool. Save it up, close it down, and load it back up again. Hooray. And now nobody snipe new music. You're banned from looking at everything else. Look at Ralph. Everybody look at Ralph and nowhere else. This is the rule of the stream. This is the law of the internet. Look at Ralph. Keep looking at Ralph in the eye. Meet his gaze. Meet his gaze. Come on, load up. Yes, sir. That's damn right. By the way, Sidechain Compression, by far my favourite name on this Twitch chat. I love all of you for hanging out with me and having a good time, but great fucking name. Right, let's see if that's fixed it. Oh, you have competition though with Frazzle of the Dazzles, which is a great name. Thank you, my dude. Right, let's copy these over, and then what we can do is start automating some mad shit. So what we can do, go over here, say keep open and automate, and literally I'm just going to move it off screen so that you can see all of them pop up over here in real time. I'm going to start completely going batshit mad and automating the FM, automating the rate, automating that rate, automating the octave, automating, oh god, I don't even know what, wavetable position, automating that filter, automating this filter. There we go. And now let's have a look at all the things we have to play with. Perfect. I actually quite like doing it this way rather than setting up macros laboriously, because I feel like once you've locked yourself into a macro setup, you tend to end up creating largely similar sounds. So first things first, I quite like the sound of this one, but I quite want it to be a little slower, so let's just slow it down to about a quarter. There we go. And now this one is boring as sin, because it's exactly the same. So let's move the LFO rate really fast. Move the warp up and down, sure. Let's go ahead and there we go. That's kind of fun. I do like that speed. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Oh wait, reason might be muted because I haven't pressed start on that. There we go. I'm an idiot. That's better. Way ahead of you. Thanks to Clown Man. I'm on it. Don't worry. Let's move an octave up here. Let's get experimental. Let's get weird. Let's get creative. You can move down an octave, but I want the wavetable position over there, and this to be like a 16th. And then this time, that reverb send is going to be like here. There we go. Nah, that's too boring. It's too fucking boring. Down there. And then filter cutoff down there. Oh, now we're cooking with portals. Down more. Lovely. Let's change this warp around. To be honest, I think we could just stick there. Ba-ba. That's kind of fun. Let's move it up one. Ba-ba. Or what happens if we put this incredibly low to the point where Serum can't really keep up and it just starts separating it into its individual cycles of the waveform, like down here. Let's hear what happens. It's a little messy. I want to put it real low. That's really fun. I'm going to up the feedback on it too. Oh. Lovely. So now that we're there, we can just kind of copy these settings almost at random. I don't want exactly the same ones every single time, because otherwise listeners get bored. So I can just kind of reverse some of these. Change that one almost at random, and then any that don't work we kind of go in and fix later on. Let me move that there. Okay, cool. So now that we've got all of that in, let me go ahead and add some extra symbols. You're nice and ticky-tacky. Let's use you, and you, and you, and you. That works for me. Are you making future bass? I guess this would be future bass. This is kind of a hybrid future bass dubstep thing. I don't really know. We'll make it prettier in a bit, so it'll probably lean into that future bass sound a little more. As for what I'm doing with Anki going forwards, I don't know what to fucking call it, but it's really cool. I promise that much. Right, let's hear how this kind of rolls nicely. There's that goddamn bass feedback. Really should just gate that. Love that bass. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's only one thing for it now. What we've got to do is get a really silly lead over a second section. At the end of the stream, would you mind giving a very quick feedback on a 90-second demo? You know what? Yeah, fuck it. I would be more than happy to do that. That's fine. I'll be nice and speedy about it, but I think it will work. The audio is about 3 minutes behind now. Jesus Christ. Ugh, that's so frustrating. I thought the delay would fix things. 3 minutes is pretty much. Oh, for God's sake, he got me. Well, I'm an easy fucking lay here. Come on, you've got me. Ugh, damn it, damn it. I've been had, and it's easy for the internet to see it and remember it. The internet will remember my shame forever. No, no. Right, now that we've copy and pasted that over. I love you too, you little horrible person. I think once we get here, what I want to do is copy this down here. Should I clip your shame? Ah, fuck's sake. It's going to happen. I can't stop it. It's one of those things where the more you protest, the worse it gets. You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. I appreciate you very much. You're meanies. Right, let's load in some guitar and see what we can do with this, shall we? Oh, man, my computer is really not enjoying having to try and calculate this audio. I think I might let it breathe for a while I load up a nice guitar tone. Poor little thing. Okay, let's get that input in. Oh, good lord. It's alright, it could have been a lot worse. Imagine if I'd like just broken down and started crying. Like, if you just write audio's 3 minutes behind, I just flip my desk over. It's fucking no! No, it's not! I fixed it! It was all fine! What am I looking for here? Positive grid. Let's get a nice bias on the go. Well, that is not how that is supposed to sound. Boop. And let's try that again. Absolute mad lad. That is probably the first and last time anyone's ever fucking called me that. Much prettier. A clean guitar as a bridge with some add 7th and 9th chords. You know, that is actually probably what I would do. Whether or not we'll have time to get to a bridge or a drop down or anything we'll have to see. For now, what I want to do, I think, is a lead guitar. So we'll just go to Doomslayer. The Doomslayer. Right, we need to work that. It deletes album out of rage. I mean, you joke, but I basically did. That's essentially what happened. Goodness me, I like reverb guitars slightly too much, don't I? Let's compress that reverb into it. Now we can EQ. Now we can fix it. And not think of the do notification. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, to be honest. Weirdly neoclassical. No, messy as balls. Let's not do that. Let me just clean this up a little more. We've got a horrible spike just there that needs absolutely demolishing. There we go. let me just go ahead and put you here. Oh, that's way fucking better. Beautiful. Alright, let's try and just come up with some kind of lead over the top of that. That's just far too quiet, isn't it? That's never gonna please anybody. Much louder. Much louder. Alright, a little over-complex. Let's just find a nice riff. Okay, I'm getting really fucking carried away now. I need to be able to hear it slightly more, and I reckon we need to... I mean, we could do tapping. I say try to get things off to a slightly more basic start. That could be a nice texture, actually, if I get the notes right. I like that as a little texture, but maybe let's calm down the rhythm. Let's just do 16ths on that. 2, 3, 4. I think something along those lines, because it just really it just gives the colour of a chord but the interest of an art, and it's just kind of easier to listen to rather than trying to come up with a brand new melody to try to intersect with what's going on down in here. So I reckon let's just hold on some of those. That'll work. 2, 3, 4. Work just fine for me, I think. Let me just put that in there. I absolutely love those little bass scuffs where you just hear it holding on the very, very end of it. Due to the fact that I am streaming, these will be woefully out of time, so I am just going to go and quantize all of these up, which will be an absolute mess, but fuck it, no one else is hearing this out of the stream, fam, so who cares? Man, I'm gonna have to see you soon then, I'm afraid, Clan Man. Have a good one, I will see you very soon. There we go. I will probably wrap this stream up pretty soon, because we've been going for an hour and a half now, I think? Jesus. If we can just about make it to 2 hours, I think, and then yeah, let's do some feedback on a demo or two if people happen to send in, and we can call it a day. That'll be really fun. Let me just go ahead and combine the two of these, and I'll have to play along to this, and it'll sound like an absolute mess, so forgive me for the time being. close that up because I'm being lazy today because we're streaming. And perfect. All right. It sounds like a really shit, like, Atreyu song by itself. Dun, 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 dun. But when it's in the mix, God, it sounds fun. When it's coloured by everything else. We need to change this up because it's exactly the same as it is earlier. So let's go ahead and make this fill 4 times as fast. And you can go down an octave. And also re-trigger 4 times as fast. Because why not? Yes! And what happens if we put you in the glitch channel too? Yeah, okay, that's very, very, very fast. Let's move you off to the right hand side, move you all the way to the left, and you go down an octave. That's what we like to hear. This is slightly too quiet. Snare, I think. Snare is too soft. Maybe let's raise this a little bit and then find our sub. That needs to be stronger. And this bass is terrible. I think we need to reprocess this. I can't believe this sound made it in. It's so bad! And this sound made it all the way through the stream. Oh no, I can't believe I left that in. Fuck it, it's staying now. It fills a hole, doesn't it? It fits the mix. Bradley, how often do you stream and at what times? At the moment it is every single Tuesday at 4:30 PM GMT. But I'm thinking about potentially doing an extra one on Thursdays for like hanging out and either doing kind of feedback on fan tracks or maybe just playing some video games or something. I don't know. I've got a backlog of RPGs that I never played when I was a kid that I really want to get to, Chrono Trigger being number 1. But we will see. But for now, yes, there will be a music stream just like this every Tuesday at 4:30 PM GMT, and the stream archives will be up on YouTube very shortly afterwards, provided that I don't get sued by Warner, because we're doing a bootleg remix. We need to kind of work on this transition a little bit, then let's add effects like rises and sweeps and stuff, then maybe we can just about work on a verse, like a chill section, by taking another little bit from over here. Oh yeah, okay, then we'll move the build in. Oh, it's all coming together, guys. It's all coming together. So you are the drop. There we go. And what I will do is move it around. Let's do some quick arranging before we do any of the more exciting stuff. So I'll move you there. What did I just do? Oh, that's why. I see. I see you. And then let's just get rid of everything over here. I'll just run all the way this back. I'm sure if we got Studio Get One, yeah, I would. I know how to play the game. We're all right. Right. So what I was doing was moving this over, wasn't I? What a beautiful sound that is. I want you guys to soak that sound in all its majestic glory. Let me... why am I doing it like that? Let me just take that and move it in early. really starting to struggle now. I reckon what we need here is maybe some like amen breaks. That would be really, really fun. I was supposed to be doing effects and like cleanup and stuff, wasn't I, rather than arranging? Fuck's sake. I just get so easily distracted when I'm making easy things. Easy things are really fun. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Drum and bass loops. Let's work with some of these amens. Yeah, those are kind of nice. I quite like some of those. Let's do that. I believe in your computer. Maybe you shouldn't. It's getting quite old these days. Sure, let's do that just because it has a funny name. Boom, 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 boom. And then here we'll just start doubling it all up because why wouldn't we? Oh man, my computer's hating this. I think I was joking about the delay earlier, but it's a solid 11 seconds now. See, this is the thing. This is the boy that cried wolf. How am I supposed to believe you? I mean, just for posterity's sake, I'm going to do it, but that's not to say that I trust you. Look at Ralph. Everybody look at Ralph. Good. Alright, stream template. Up we go again. I might have to do some bouncing out. You know what, Atenka? I think we possibly could. Yeah. He's sending out his gamma waves. He's fucking us up with his gamma waves. That's exactly what's happening. I might just do some bouncing very quickly. If people have any questions to go through, any production stuff, anything about the music industry in general, opinions, etc., ask away, because I think it's time to do some bouncing and some clear up so that my computer doesn't die. What am I looking for here? Bus 3. Bus 3. Nope, not loops and new track console. Let's go ahead and do that there and there. Then do it. Thank you. It was fine when I joined. Well, how can I trust you, Gamma? Hmm? In your fucking gamma waves? They look like a sullied your reputation on this stream from now on. Oh, that's good stream juice. Right. That should be the guitars now. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Excellent. Plus 3 bounce through the sidechain. That feels so funny too. When releasing your first few tracks, should you release them through a label or DistroKid? Yeah. Release yourself. Labels will seldom give you anything that you actually need. It's kind of a myth that you need them. Still delayed. Again, if someone other than Gamma could say that, that would be great. Just, can someone confirm that's not Gamma? That would be really ideal. Can't confirm for the delay. Piss face. Alright. I'm going to try one more restart, but then if not, what I can do is... what What can I do? Yeah, we might have to call that early then. Let's try and just stop and start that while I work on these kicks. Is this delayed still? Might be your internet's being slothful. You know what? You're not far off, probably. I have relatively okay internet, but it's probably not handling this with any any form of applause. And then let's just go ahead and put a low effect on you there. Let's just do some arranging, and I can kind of do some chatting while I'm doing that, and hopefully not that music. But I can't even think about what I'm saying. I can do some chatting, and hopefully we just won't have to play much audio, and then we'll try and fix it once I reset Reason. Yeah, that's a real bummer. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna have to read in. The trouble is, not really many people stream music stuff, so all the advice online is about, oh man, my game is behind, what do I do? But who knows. Let me just try and reset this one more time. Everyone look at Ralph! To Ralph, please! Oh, our tanker, are you proud of that? Are you proud of that, really? God damn. Andrew, I think the reason delay is fine, it wasn't as bad as it was earlier. Okay. Oh man. Conflicting reports. I don't know who to believe. I'll never believe in Gamma again, that's for sure, but we will see how this works out. Hopefully this reset does it. If not, let's just do some basic arranging, and then I'll just make sure to leave like 10 plus seconds of silence. Okay. How does that sound? Let's do a low effect, shall we? The trick is to have low self-standards. Oh, I'm right there with you, my friend. Keep your sights low and you'll always be slightly impressed. Let's load that in. That's going to be fun. Let's turn the OG file down a little bit because it's a little loud compared to our nice drop. Genuinely think I'm a curse. Last week it was fine when I joined close to the start, but slowly worse throughout too. Yeah, I don't know why that is. It seems perfectly alright right at the very beginning, and then the longer we stream for, the worse and worse it gets. And I cannot, for the life of me, think why. Reason's muted now. Of course it is. Because I didn't do that. God damn it. Okay, let's go ahead and fuck with this. Let's frequency shift it, because frequency shifting is very, very fun. Turn off the bypass and literally turn it on just as we get to this section. I want to do a really cool scuff here. So if I put the sideband right in the middle and give it a little bit, seems to be fine for now. That's ominous, but let's hope. Let's leave it on fine and play with this. Play with me! Okay, let's bring it down and then back up. Yeah, okay, that's really dope. I think we just need to get down to that spot sooner. Lovely. Okay, so what we have here is a classic need for smearing with reverb. So what I'm going to do is have a nice long time and then just automate the dry wet. Whap me! Fuck me, we're going with the really deep first world solution problems. First world solution quotes, I love it. It's what we need. It's come slowly down and then maybe slightly up. That's very fun. I very much like that. Let me just compress this to kind of tie it all together. Believe me, smearing with reverb when effects aren't quite working. Oh, it's the one. Beautiful. Okay, so now we need to kind of sort our frequency content out with that. Let's go ahead and automate some high pass. So we swiftly get rid of any of that nastiness. Like that. Lovely. And then we finally need to catch that with... yeah, let's do some effects. Okay, favorite samples. Short reverse. We got one of those? We do. Have I got grind in here? Somehow I don't. Tell you what. While I'm here, let's just do some of these because they're needed. And a crash at the same time. Lovely. That effect gets way too fast to the point it's tonal. I love it. Yeah, I fucking adore that kind of thing. It's really, really fun. I actually did a track for someone that I'm writing for at the moment today that did exactly that. Like, I just hold the LFOs on incredibly fast rates where they're just generating their own tones and then just use that as an instrument, and it just sounds so much fun. Oh, it's so cool. Love nerdy shit like that. Okay, let's process this a little bit. Get rid of the super highs, get rid of the problem spots, so that's going to be around about 10 and definitely around about here. Goodbye, foul beasts. And these are going to be way too loud. Lovely. God, that's such a fucking hit now. Okay, that transition out's not amazing, nor is the one over here, so we could probably work on that a little bit. Let's just do some tidying up a little bit. Need some risers on the go. Let's just load in You'll Do. Stolen that technique so many times, we've never gone that fast before. Ah man, gotta push yourself. Go faster. Lovely, lovely. Let's get rid of all of that horrible earned. This needs much more presence. I think it's finally time to fix this, and literally all I'm going to do is completely ruin it with distortion. I think that's kind of what it needed, and then just get rid of a little bit of that. Alright, starting to get somewhere now. Cool. Cool fucking beans. Let me put you at the end of all of our segments. Likewise, we'll find a nice little effect to team it up with. This one's always pretty. Lovely. That in there. That actually sounds kind of similar to the original there, actually, which is pretty neat. Let's leave that. don't like the little stop though. That can definitely get fixed. Cool. Do you need to leave for dinner, Dama? Do you really? Oh, how can I trust you ever again? Have a good one, dude. I'll see you next week. Now this is just feeling a little soft to me now. Let's turn you up. Yes, you really do. Of course you do. At least there won't be any delay. That's very true. Now that he's gone, we'll be fine for the remaining, what, 10 minutes of the stream. Lovely. I reckon what we could do is go ahead and move some of this stuff back here. Definitely got that endpoint wrong. I still don't like how quickly that reverb juts in. So let's do some smoothing. First things first, this compressor just too beefy, I think. Slightly too beefy, and then I think what we need to do here is just go ahead and easy win. So much better. I thought we were missing something. This dropped for some reason. There we go. That bass. Okay, this is fun. And then just a little bang. Lovely. I reckon that might have to do it for now. Here's what I reckon we should do. Should we start something brand new next week, or should we try and finish this track next week? If we like round out into the arrangement, do the verses, do the build, do the B section, second drop, all kinds of weird stuff. Should we try and arrange a track next week, or should we just make something new? Up to you guys. But I reckon we could finish this next week. That could be fun. Altenka, you have a question if it's not too much trouble. Of course, dude. Taylor, let's end the stream with your question, then I'll bounce and I'll make myself some curry and then some pancakes and pudding. That sounds perfect. What's on your mind, my son? I'm like a priest. It's great. Oh, of course, Fluxing. Yeah, of course, your demo link. Yeah, by all means. But finishing it is cool. We'll round it out. It might take more than one stream to finish the entire thing in terms of like mixing and mastering and everything, but it's already sounding quite nice, at least to my earphones anyway. I think what I could possibly do with here is an extra nice bit of percussion. Cool. Right, let's check out this nice new. Oh no, that's open with Mozilla for some reason. Oh well, fine. Let's have a listen to what's going on here then. You know I'm a sucker for those church bells, that's fine. So already, like, clearly you've got the knack of understanding how to compose catchy melodies, and you're understanding where your kind of like harmonic movement is taking you, which is really, really nice. Got a good sense of actual composition. At the moment, this piano patch is very stock. What I would consider doing is making sure that you can move timings ever so slightly around, go off grid and shift some of the MIDI notes here and there so it feels a bit more natural. Likewise, make sure that the velocity in which all of those MIDI notes are playing are slightly different, because no human being is a robot. When they sit down and play piano like that, it will never sound that rigid and perfect. So that could definitely do with fixing up. So I'm guessing this is a place where vocals would probably come in. What I really like is the fact that you've completely understood the use of textural atmosphere. You can't hear the browser on the stream, for fuck's sake! Ah! Oh well. Tell you what, if you send me a download link, we could just kind of pop it in here. That's annoying. Right, well that's like 3 minutes of content where I'm just like discussing things over and over again and no one can hear the music. Oh, I hate streaming. Oh, this sucks. Oh dear. Anyway, if you send me a download link, we can just do that very quickly. But our Tanker, yeah, did you have a question while I'm still here? How can I get a good, clean sound from electric guitar input into a computer? I've a lot of experience with physical instruments more than programs, and honestly have no idea where to start, since the extent of my composing program knowledge is usually just this sounds nice. So a good, clean sound from your electric guitar is almost entirely dependent on just finding a nice VST to process it, to be honest. Obviously the best thing to do would be to, you know, get yourself a microphone like this one over here that's just about coming in shot now, haha. Get yourself a nice condenser and an SM57 and mic up an amp and run that in and produce it like a traditional rock band. But to be honest, that is cumbersome and time consuming and just not what you need when you want to just quickly jam and get things in. So what I do is I DI. Literally just get a standard quarter-inch jack, plug it into your audio interface, and then just pop that into guitar. You'll end up with an incredibly and I mean incredibly shitty dry signal, but that's exactly what you need, because most decent guitar plugins will be focused on just processing that DI signal. So what I would strongly recommend you do is invest in something like Bias FX or Axe FX. Those two things are excellent, really, really, really solid. They're slightly expensive, but they work. They absolutely work. Something, oh hi Roblox, great. Something that I would strongly recommend you do is, yeah, take a look at Bias FX. There are some decent cheaper ones, like the Vermilion amps are quite good. But yeah, load up Bias FX. The thing that I really enjoy about Bias is that if you're not super into messing about with creating your own tone, oh, I deleted it now, of course I did. Tell you what, let's just quickly whip one up. Effect, bias, where have you gone? Bias, bias, bias. You're in positive grid, aren't you? Positive grid, bias effects. So if you load this up, while you can tinker about with all kinds of wonderful customizable arrangements and load in new effects all over the place and route things up, like, again, very time intensive. If you just want a very good tone very quickly, you can press this cloud button and you can immediately kind of audition and check out tones that other people have created and will sound great. It's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, keep it simple. DI into the computer and then throw it on in to a decent processing unit like Bias. Right, now you can actually hear what I was creating. Perfect. Let me load that on in there. Okay, so what we've got here, I'll quickly go over what I mentioned earlier. This piano right here, is composed really nicely, but it's produced by, I can't even talk, my voice is running out, my brain's gone. But the way it's being performed is weird. It's very robotic, very MIDI. So what you need to do is adjust the velocity in which the notes are being played, slightly adjust the timings, literally go into a MIDI lane and turn snap off and ever so slightly move a couple of notes here and there off the grid so that it feels a little bit more natural, because obviously you'd never hit notes perfectly together, especially with those chord stacks. You want to kind of roll into it, so you kind of go bottom note first and then you go so up to the top. That would be really nice. What I really like is when we get to this section where I think vocals were supposed to come in, where we kind of drop everything out. You can really pick up that you really know what you're doing with textural atmosphere, which is this kind of like bird singing, like backing, lovely scene setting kind of sound. But we don't have much in the way of melodic atmosphere. I'd like to just hear like a held note kind of in the background, setting the scene melodically for what we work with. So if we just hold on a 7 or a 3 in a really basic patch, it could be anything. Literally could be like a vocal heavily reverbed, could be an organ, a sign pad, literally anything. As long as it's quite subtle, very heavily reverbed and sent back and turned down, and just holding on a nice note, like a 3 or a 7 or a 5 or something that can be coloured nicely with a chord underneath. I think that would really lift it here. So yeah, once we kind of got to this section where we're starting to hear those drums come into play, now we're really missing that. We're really missing that atmosphere. I think that's an integral part of this track. What I would also do is definitely recommend you bring in some form of percussion alongside this kick and the snare, because at the moment they're very much by themselves. They definitely need some accompaniment to round it out to a full drum kit. At the moment they're very isolated. As you can see, we've got nothing up here. We could really do with a lot more information up here, even if it's just some like textural effects and that kind of stuff. That'd be really, really useful. So that fill in there, compositionally is lovely, but tonally not quite there. The way those drums are being hit, that doesn't really give you the feeling that the composition tells us we should have. The composition is making it feel like it's going like doom, 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 like there's huge drum hits. And actually what's happening is psychoacoustically we're just hearing a drummer go like doo, doo, doo. So I would strongly compress and reverb those out, or just find much bigger drum hits and do the same rhythm. I would potentially find new samples for that, because they're not really hitting right at the moment. So again, composed really beautifully, but the MIDI guitar is sticking out quite a bit. What I would recommend doing is, if you're sticking with the MIDI guitar, because obviously you might not have access to a guitar, or you might not be able to play the line you'd like, that's fine. I would process it with a bunch more reverb and delay, and then compress at the end so that it doesn't feel quite so stock and quite so kind of stop-start and that traditional kind of MIDI sound. Alternatively, find a friend who you know can play guitar nicely and get a DI recording fast. But yeah, compositionally, this is all really lovely. Once vocals are on this, like, it's simple, but it works. Like, I'm not bored as a listener. I'm being taken through every single phrase. It's really nicely written. Good job. It's really cool because you can tell you've written a lot of music before. You've clearly got a very decent sense of compositional flow. Nothing is like out of key or out of tune. Like everything is really, really rock solid from a compositional point of view. The kind of transparent production side obviously needs a little bit of work, but it's not far off. Definitely quite convincing. Like very, very nice. What I would say are your things to focus on is the kick in particular has been compressed to within an inch of its life, which for the genre, great. That's actually what most people would probably do. But you've ended up focusing quite heavily on this kind of clicky kind of area to it, which is actually something we want to strip out, and we've actually neglected the big, low, beefy boom on the bottom of it, which is actually kind of what we need. So I would definitely recommend going in with an EQ and just carving this section out here giving this a little bit of a lift so that we get much more of that commanding thwack on the bottom. And likewise, that snare now is nowhere near as hard hitting as we want it to be psychoacoustically. Like, if you close your eyes and listen to this song and you imagine a drummer playing it, we don't see somebody going like, bah! And then really getting into it and sending the emotional catharsis we need. What we hear is someone going like, it's just quite tame. It doesn't give you the same emotional resonance that we want. So from a production standpoint, in terms of just pure frequency spectrum, like, it's fine. But it's too short, doesn't have any tail on it. It doesn't have any like reverb sending off into the background, making it sound like someone that has aggressively hit a drum, which is something that you really want to kind of focus in on. So what I'd recommend doing is actually loading in another snare layer that's dedicated just to being that sound. Like literally just taking the transient off so it's just all tail and adding a reverb, compressing it, and then just letting that kind of wash over as the other snare is your meat. That'd be really, really handy. In general, we've got a bit too much of a cluster up here. I think we could probably cut at that 2.5k and then just kind of boost down here a little bit. We need a little bit more of this warmth, but not too much. I love those little staccato hits, really cool. Yeah, man, really fucking cool. Can we get a round of applause in chat for Fluxium? It's a brave thing to do to send your music in to a live stream and kind of get it critiqued live on air, and that was really cool and a really nice way of ending that stream. Good job, man. I'm excited to hear more music. This has been really neat and really fun. I think I'm going to go because I have an evening to to live. I think what we'll do is we'll round off this fun remix next week, I think. And we'll start arranging it, we'll start getting a verse going with some clean guitars and making some pretty things. And then I'll take a vote as to what we want to do for second and third drops. How weird do we want to take it? Do we change tempo? Do we change genre? Do we do some weird, crazy, hard style stuff? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's do that next week. So this has been an absolute delight. I apologise for so many technical snafus, and I'll try and iron that out again. But this has been really chill. I will see you all then. For now, goodbye. I'll see you next Tuesday.